Welcome into Automotive Insiders. I'm your host, Jason Stein. Great to have you back listening again with us on this platform. Today, we go to Las Vegas in CES 2026 and the show floor to talk about the future of mobility, which is no longer theoretical. It's being built, tested, and deployed in real time. And few companies are more central to that transition than Bosch, a 140-year-old engineering company that's now becoming something very different. As we said last week, Bosch expects its software and services business to exceed $6 billion by the end of the decade, with roughly two-thirds of that coming from mobility alone. And what's most interesting is that Bosch's story is not just about scale, it's what it represents for the company. As Paul Thomas, president of Bosch North America, explains it, when software and hardware come together, that's where progress really happens. And today, in part two of my conversation with him from CES, we talk about transformation with someone who's leading that from the front lines. Paul Thomas is responsible for one of the company's most complex regions at a moment of profound technological and cultural change. He's overseeing Bosch's evolution from a traditional engineering powerhouse into a software-enabled, AI-driven industrial platform. In our conversation, we talk about what Bosch is becoming, what's hard about the transition, and where autonomy and AI are actually becoming economically viable. It's part two of my conversation with Paul Thomas from the floor of the CES 2026 show on Automotive Insiders. In the US, you've announced a deep partnership with Kodiak AI around redundant platforms for autonomous trucks.
Yeah.
Why does trucking feel like the place where autonomy becomes economically real first?
Yeah, I mean, I have a personal point on this, and I also have a Bosch point. They both kind of intersect at one area. Is trucks always, if you have a known route, the truck has to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And when you have a known route and you have a vehicle that is instrumented and you have a load that is well known, that's where autonomy makes total sense, right? And that doesn't differ between my beliefs and the company's beliefs.
Yep.
And that's where I think the advantages of Class 8 commercial trucking can happen. Now, last mile deliveries, we'll see how that operates. I mean, you see Amazon doing a lot of things with last mile deliveries, whether they're trucks or other devices that deliver product. But I think in Class 8 vehicles, having this known route with a known point A and a known point B, where you need uptime, and drivers might not want to do that. But at the end of the day, drivers need to love their job as well. And is a driver really going to love driving the same route every day, back and forth, 9 hours a day?
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe you take that driver and you teach him how to be a software reviewer, and he's observing 9 trucks driving and using his skill set and stuff to deliver AI models to help the trucks do better. So that's where I see this really starting. And it's glad with Kodiak that we do it on the commercial vehicle side so that we see a big Class 8 opportunity for us.
A little more on AI. There's a lot of that here, today, obviously. Bosch and Microsoft expanding manufacturing co-intelligence using agentic AI, really to optimize factories.
Yeah.
And you showed something during your press conference of a factory floor optimization. Talked a lot about that. When you say agentic AI, what does that mean in practical terms for workers who are on the factory floor?
Yeah, so I mean, agentic AI gives you, the way I call it conversational AI.
Okay.
Right, where you have an agent that might understand the hardware of the machine they're working on. You might have another agent that understands the software of the machine they're working on, and the operator would ask the agentic team, "My machine went down," and then the AI agents would then talk to each other and say, "Here's the failure mode. Agent 1, is it hardware? Agent 2, is it software?" And the agentic AI really comes through that when our operators ask questions, the agents, whether it's software, hardware, let's call it hydraulics or air or pneumatics, whatever's being delivered to the machine, can then talk to each other. And that problem solving at the agentic AI level then gives, let's say, a most likely solution. And of course, then the operator has to perform certain things to make sure that that's operative. And that helps a lot. And as we talked about in the press conference earlier today, I know the listeners weren't part of that. That's improving our accuracy of failure modes by more than 3 times. So having this agentic AI talking gives us better answers faster.
And in that way, we hear a lot about the improvements that AI will make in the workforce, how it will change business. How do you see it adapting and or asked a different way? How do you see it changing the way that
big question,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's great usage for AI. I mean, if there was ever something that you was boring and you didn't like to do, or you could make errors on taking a big table of numbers and comparing numbers and saying which one is the outlier, or large data models where you're trying to find patterns. I mean, AI is amazing at that. And even, programming simple robotic features, like for having robots to pick up certain bottles. You used to have to program the line of motion to the bottle. Now you just tell the robot from an AI standpoint, pick up the bottle, and it does those things. So I think there's benefits in that. But there's also a great responsibility with it, in that you can rely on it to send you in the right direction, but not only you can't rely on it to do everything. And I think that's, if you ask me personally, as a leader, that's where I'm really trying to find the great balance. When you use AI, you use it to make people's jobs easier. So this efficiency topic we brought up earlier, as the company moves to a more efficient organization, they see why, and they're happier, they're more enriched with the job they do, and AI is doing things that they don't like to do, right? I use it a lot in my life, personally and professionally, and I find that it helps with things, but only to a certain extent. And then the human factor has to come into play. Like, you can ask it to analyze some software for safety relevant, but you're like, okay, is it doing the right thing? And are the inputs, where's it getting its data from, and things along those lines.
Or examine my blood test report.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's other industries that are really finding great benefits as well. I mean, in healthcare, if you look like a radiologist, for instance, it used to be a radiologist would get an x-ray and have to look at it. Now AI can at least help that radiologist find certain things, and maybe the radiologist can do more work and not make mistakes because they're staying up so late working on things. So we're finding that the amount of mistakes that are made using AI, when you're looking at large data or large error-proofing things, really the errors become less evident.
Your Tech Compass survey shows 70% of people think AI is crucial for the future, but 57% also wish there was a pause button. How do you lead innovation when people are excited and anxious at the same time?
I think it's all about education. We do a lot of things within Bosch where we have thousands of people, cohorts that go through our AI training and what that means. We also then provide hackathons for AI where we bring different functions, whether it's our communications team, our legal team, our manufacturing team, our logistics team, and we say, solve real world problems with AI, and then tell everyone how you did it. And we give rewards for people that do a great job in that. So I think everyone's scared of AI if they don't know what it is. But when you use it and you instruct and teach and people see the benefits, then I think the 57% can start improving, because people know that they want to use it. If they don't know what it is, then that scares them.
Yeah, it's fear factor.
Fear factor. Yeah. And I think everyone worries about AI eliminating their job. I think that can happen in certain instances. I mean, certain jobs definitely will be, I'll use the word, maybe more efficient. Call centers, things along those lines, where you have agentic things on simple problems like directing calls to certain things, but other things that can't be replaced.
Let's talk about a few other interesting things here since we're at CES.
Yeah.
Origify.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Origify. You show this. It gives products a digital identity based on physical surface patterns, essentially a fingerprint for authenticity. In a world of, and you cited the example on stage, are the sneakers that I've just bought or might buy real?
Yeah.
Is the watch real that I may purchase? In a world of deep fakes, of digital uncertainty, is trust becoming one of the most important technologies of all? And tell me a little bit about how Origify may change that.
Yeah, I think it's a great concept, right? Whether it's counterfeit media, whether it's counterfeit products, whether it's counterfeit news, that will always be a question, I think, in people's minds with the technology available today, right? I mean, dancing politicians you can see every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when it's fake, and there's not a lot of care and control right now on what's real versus we'll use the word fake for the time being. I think counterfeit products, specifically what Origify is looking for, is getting to product level understanding. And I think on a physical product, the human eye won't be able to decipher as well as something that's doing a pattern-based recognition. There was a movie I watched the other day, real interesting. I won't reference it, but someone had a fake handbag, and they met the owner of the handbag company. And the girl said, "I want you to see my handbag." And the owner of the company said, "That's not real. And this is how I know that, because the stitching was the wrong." So there's certain things that general people will find that they'll believe is real, but Origify really can get into what the original intent of the product was meant to be. And so it's an early idea of what we need to do and how we can do it. I think it offers a good trend in the world today, whether it's digital products, physical products, or something you're buying, from a local vendor.
You're also transforming, because it's Bosch, you're transforming the kitchen.
Yeah.
And here in Las Vegas, you brought out a TV chef and had him cook some steaks in front of journalists. What do you learn from what you're doing in the home that can be applied in other parts of the business?
Yeah, I think all of us have a house, or we have a place that we live in, right? So you want to make that frictionless. And what you can do with technology in the home, I've always been a proponent of a connected house, right? I've gone through many different variables, right, of what a connected house looks like. Buy this dongle, do this, use this hub, don't use that hub. And I think what becomes more important is the technology you have fit within the suite of products that you have. And I think what we were able to show today with our 800 series induction cooktop is that if you're not the best cook, or you don't have your eye on your meal all the time, there is technology that's simple that can help you. And it's already in the product you bought already.
Right.
So I think integration of smart functions into products versus having to buy a separate hub or do something different. And I'm sure you'll see that across across competitive projects as well. But how smoothly you integrate that, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think it was cool today that Marcel, who we brought on, I mean, if you put a pan on the stove, it'll regulate the temperature of the pan so that you don't burn the food that you're cooking. To me, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think those are the little things that will happen. Even if you look at some of our espresso machines or some of our other products that we have, they're getting smarter. And they're in your house, so you want them to be smart for you. And I think that's what's encouraging for me.
I think it was 2 years ago here at CES, there was the concept of my smartphone will know that I'm on the route in the morning to work, so it will ping the local coffee shop, which will have the coffee brewing by the time I arrive. It'll be ready when I'm there.
Yeah, I think those dreamscapes, they're amazing. Like, you can draw them up.
Right.
And between you and I have a real problem with those dreamscapes sometimes, because I think they're very generic.
Right.
And I really like to see this automation become very personalized, and it being able to do what you want it to do, not what someone tells you the best thing of the technology is. That's the worst thing that I believe can happen, is someone gets in a car and it starts telling them where a coffee shop is, and they're like, I don't even care about a coffee shop, right? I mean, that's not what's important to me.
Right.
What's important to me is, where is a hole in the road that I need to avoid so I don't smash my tire or my rim, right? So I think there's a lot of things that become very personalized, Jason, on that, which I really think is what makes consumers want it. What makes you want it or me want it is something that helps you.
You referenced 30 years at Bosch.
Yeah.
You have seen, you are leading Bosch in North America through enormous technological and cultural changes. What has surprised you the most about leading during this transition?
I think what I find is that the flexibility of our employees to really understand that portfolio changes happen, that market dynamics create reasons for us to have to change, and to really operate in scenarios that sometimes no one has control over. And I think in the past, you really, not in the past, but maybe it was called old school leadership, was this is the way that it is. And the market was very predictable. And you could predict what could happen. So you look like a good manager because the market was very stable. Over the last 15 years, you don't have the answers to everything. So what I'm really encouraged by is that our associates are really energized by scenario planning. I'm doing this because of this. And if the scenario changes, you'll know why I need to change my direction. And that's been very encouraging for me to watch. We have a very low attrition rate at our company. If you talk to a lot of our workers, a lot of people have 12, 15, 20. And some people may say, Paul, wow, that's a disadvantage. Don't you want people that move around and learn different things? You can learn so much within Bosch. So in my 30 years, I've worked in automotive, I've worked in power tools, I've been on the manufacturing floor, I've worked in quality, I've lived in multiple different countries. So you can fundamentally, at our company, learn everything you need to do because we are so multinational. And what I really appreciate our associates doing now, or our employees, is dealing with scenarios and really wanting the company to succeed. And in my 30 years, I've never seen anyone sabotage our company, which is amazing, right? We've never seen workers do something wrong on purpose. And that's, I think, a strong testament to how much they love the company and what we stand for.
When you look 10, 20 years ahead, what do you hope Bosch will be remembered for during this period?
Yeah, I mean, when I started 30 years ago, what I liked about the company is what I hope exists today. That we're able to not make knee-jerk reactions to market dynamics, that we treat people with dignity, that we treat people with respect, and that we continue to develop technology. I don't want to be a company that always has to buy technology. I want to be a company that develops technology on our own. So we fund all the technology we develop, we fund it on our own. We don't go to external markets. I'd like to see the company be able to maintain its independence, its financial independence, its technology independence, and not be bound by a shareholder or a stock market that says you have to do this to create more value. We want to create it from ourselves, from within. That's what I'd love to see.
Finally, you announced today that you'll be back in what's known as the big game. A big game with a pigskin involved.
Yeah.
That was a significant move last year, positioning the company from a marketing perspective into a broader audience. Obviously, a big play for a big game.
Yeah.
What did that do for you? Why are you coming back?
Yeah, I think that generating brand acknowledgement in the U.S. is super important, and it's something that you can't do with one big game or even two big games. It's got to be something that is well thought out and a very strong commitment from our company. We are known as a strong brand throughout the world, and I think reinforcing our brand recognition in the U.S. isn't a short-sighted thing to do. I think it's great that we're doing it. Of course, it's a significant investment that we need to make for our company, and of course, we want to see increased sales from it. We want to see increased product placement from it. We want to see increased partnerships from it. But it's nothing that we're saying, if we do this, we're only going to do it 1 year, and if it fails, we're not going to do it again. It's something that is a well thought out idea for us to improve the Bosch brand in the United States, to show that we're not just a dishwasher supplier, that we're not just an auto parts supplier, but that we are a software hardware company that brings solutions to life. And we want people to really feel like the more Bosch products that they use, the more they improve their lives. That's our.
Well, you said, I mean, North America is an enormously important growth market for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now, North America represents somewhere, depending upon exchange rates and things, anywhere between 17 to 21% of the Bosch global turnover. And we want to be 20 to 25% of the Bosch global turnover, but by creating value, right, and entering into new markets. Like you'll see in our Super Bowl ad, in our big game ad we had last year, we had our power tools featured, we had our home appliances featured, but it wasn't in a way that was very product oriented. It was more brand oriented.
Yep.
And I think we'll start to see more and more of that we want to be a brand that people trust and a brand that people want to use.
Excellent. Thanks for spending time with me at CES. I appreciate it. Thank you for just opening our listeners up to the world of Bosch.
Yeah. And I want to compliment you. I've been listening to you in my life for the last 15 to 20 years as well. And it's really an honor to spend time speaking with you. And I really appreciate everything you've done, not only for the automotive industry, but everything you're doing to generate interest and knowledge throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's part 2 of my